Good morning. Hopefully the whole thing was playing because I think I accidentally um did something. I had the mic off. So if it messed up, my apologies. And for those watching the replay, you won't see that clip because of copyright claims. So on the live I'll play it, but then I have to clip it out because copyright claims. All right. So you'll be wondering, I didn't get to see the video and I watched the replay. Or what's something's missing? Yeah, I had to clip it out last week. Good morning to everybody in the chat. I see you all. Renaissance Grandma, Cena Renee, Howie from Food Forest, Permaculture, Tammy, the Bud Files, Broke Farmer, and Jason, probably Shanna maybe in the background, and everybody. I'm not going to be overly long today. I got to do some cleanup. So I'll hop from 50 million topics, all um, various topics, just to follow up from last week. I talked about the case with Alec Baldwin. So I didn't dig deep, but I looked at some of the reviews of the case, and it seems that he got off on a technicality. It wasn't a getting off of the charges per se, but he got off on a technicality based on information and evidence that was not provided to the defense team at all, or even in a timely manner after requests, and things that would have helped with the defense's building their case. Some of the reports of the ammunition and something else was not provided to the defense team, and it seemed it may have been on purpose. I'm not sure. I'm not going into all that. And I watched some of the other commentators discussing it. So he got off on a technicality. So, I don't know. It is what it is. A lot has happened in the week. We all know what's going on in the States. We're not going to go into that. Um, again, watch the commentators because there's a lot going on and you can't keep up. Over here, last week we had a torrential rainfall. It seems like Hurricane Beryl was, carrying on, getting on bad still. And the rain that came down on Monday, I think it was Monday, and it was raining for the entire weekend pretty much. So there was nowhere from the rain in my property to go. I went out for lunch, came outside for lunch, worked from home, went outside, check on the chickens, and I see the neighbors bucketing water from the driveway to the road. And I'm looking, the whole driveway was flooded, and my driveway slopes down more than theirs towards the house. Um, Next time I'm not buying a house like that. I want something on the hill with the driveway sloping to the road. Anyways, I'm like, shoot. All of the gravel underneath one of the walkways of my property pretty much, you know, came out the cracks and all over the driveway, sand, silt, and gravel. We put it back, but it's going to happen again. I have some water in my basement, not a lot. It's a little bit in the cold room, the cellar underneath the stairs, the same area where all the water ran through. So I'm still having to clean that out. It's a very small area, and I had a lot of stuff crammed into it, which is why I mentioned even last week I said I'm going to start drinking the water in that room, finishing it off, and then buying a fresh batch because it's been sitting there too long. You can't buy things, store them up, and just having them sitting there. Good morning, Virginia. You can't have it sitting there. The plastic's gonna deplete. It's gonna leak. Things are gonna happen. What happened? Flood. So some things that I had in there I threw out because it was really just stuff that you just throw in there it had no purpose. Extra bags and stuff, really, recycling bin. Nothing was damaged. The only thing that was I guess you could say damaged, I had a box of washing soda, and all the moisture from being in that room made it like a hard brick, but it didn't get wet. When I checked, it wasn't wet. Where I had it was just the only spot that wouldn't get wet. So I'm going to change up some of stuff I'm doing in my storage cellar, and any laundry detergent that's powdered is going to be put in a bucket and labeled. So if it does get moist, you can kind of, you know, break it into smaller bits, maybe mix it with something that's not going to make it get to a hard clump, and just protect your purchases. I had toilet paper and paper towel in there, but nothing was on the ground. It was on a shelf. One thing around the corner, the way that you have to crawl to go into some of those spaces, literally on like hands and knees because it gets lower and lower. I had some paper towel back there. It's wrapped in plastic, individually wrapped in plastic, and then wrapped in the big bag from Costco. It wasn't on the floor, but it looks okay. Note to self: make sure everything is packaged and somehow waterproof. And I had a bit of water in the garage, but the other people had I'm talking flooding. I'm talking about a foot or more of water in their basement. So thank God I didn't have that issue. 'Cause I'm like, Lord, please, please, I'm begging you, send some angels to direct the water somewhere else into the road, because I don't have the money to be fixing up basement and fixing up, water damage. So that's what's happening over here. I think it was on the international news. Like roads were flooded, rivers were like taking over, all the waterways went higher. And I was talking to somebody, I'm like, it's unfortunate what happened with people's property. Don't get me wrong. But you have to look at the waterways. The creek in our area has not even had water in a couple of years. It's literally drying up. And now we see the creek again. So you got to take the good with the bad. So that's what people over here are dealing with. My parents' basement, their house, we had put in a backflow valve, so theirs is okay. Funny enough, last year when we got the plumbing work done for this year, sorry, this spring, when the sewage kind of backed up, the plumber came and fixed some stuff, and he said the backflow valve wasn't installed properly, so he fixed it. And you're lucky you didn't get a flood. Well, you call it luck, I call it God's covering. But what happened now? Heavy rainfalls, and if he didn't fix that backflow valve, who knows? Somebody else's house I know, same thing. They have a backflow valve because we had a major flood in Toronto about maybe 15 years ago now. Morning, G Mama. Maybe 15 years ago, maybe even 20. And I'm talking flood. And when they had to redo that basement, she could not get insurance unless she verified that she put in a backflow valve. So her neighbors, because they're attached, the townhouse row, all have flooded basements. She does not. And she has tiled basements. I don't know what some people do in different, parts of the globe, but back in the day, most of the basements were tiled because especially Italians would put tile in the basement. We have tile in the main rooms, the bathrooms, the laundry rooms. We have now little glue on laminate flooring in the basement. But yeah, don't put anything expensive in basements. That's the first place that's going to flood. And you want something that's going to be more sanitary, hopefully waterproof, and get a backflow valve if you're in that kind of zone. Water is one thing, but sewage, oh God, that happened to somebody I know. And it's disgusting to even have to go and handle it, cut out all the drywall, be down. It's gross. Gross, gross, gross. So, it's worth the investment we're dealing with right now. Now, also in Ontario, I don't know if it's Canada or Ontario. And again, do your own research. Don't quote me exactly on this. I'm just talking in generalities. But we are having a recall right now on plant-based milks. It's quite serious. People are getting sick. I don't know what the issue is. I believe it's some kind of Listeria, streptococcus, some kind of serious bug in the plant-based milks. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but in Ontario, it's definitely a problem. And I'm someone who drinks plant-based milk, and we usually stock up on it at the big box stores because it can store on the shelf, the ones that can store on the shelf, and you don't have to make it. Morning, Odom. So that's pretty serious. So check your local recalls right now. Some things are being plastered on the news, but some things are not really getting the news coverage that you need it to have. So check on your local recalls. There's stuff going on. Let me drop the link before I forget. Someone wants to add any. Yeah, I drink, soy. I think they mentioned it's most of the milks, like soy milk, almond milk. I don't know if it was oat milk, but it just makes you check. Now, I don't usually just drink milk unless I'm having cereal. I usually it's my coffee, my tea, or something. I'm heating it up because I don't trust just drinking cold so stuff because They don't tell you when something's not too right. Even from the how many years ago over here, the Schneider sandwich meat recalls, people were getting E. coli. Every meat that we get, we have to fry it up and warm it up and kind of cook it before we even make a sandwich, because you can't trust us taking something out the package and eating it cold. You better cook and put some heat on your food. Um yeah. So just keep an eye. I don't know if it's in the States, but I don't know how it cannot be unless it's only a particular plant. I don't know. I didn't dig any deeper. I'm just seeing people locally talking about it, and it's a problem. Especially people, they always, focus on the elderly and those who are immunocompromised. If you get any kind of something in your system, it could take you over in the to the hospital. It's not a joke. So just be mindful of what you're consuming. And I don't always heat up my milk, but I think I might just heat up the milk before I even have it. Because back in the day, I used to use hot milk to have cereal when I used to drink cow's milk. And if you don't know, heating up the milk makes it like creamy and almost tastes sweeter. And then you put cereal, put it on your cereal. I might have to go back to doing that with a plant-based milk, because you can't just drink nothing from the carton. You don't know what's going on, guys. So please be careful. Um, Yeah, it's plant. It's definitely the plant. It's not cow's milk. It's definitely a plant-based milk recall, and it's not even one particular nut. It's all of them. There's a few of them that were mentioned, and I know almond and soy and something else. So I don't know what's happening, but just check out if it's affecting your area. Check out the brand. I know it was they mentioned some brands. I don't want to mention the brands and it's wrong, because people like to sue people, but check it. It's definitely on the major newses in Canada. Maybe it's only local. I don't know. But in any event, it might be prudent just to heat up your milk before anything that you buy in a package before you consume it, because at least it's going to kill some of those things that can be killed with high heat, or just saute, your pastrami, like saute it in a pan, like, and then put it on your sandwich. Don't just have it cold from the pack. You making your children sandwiches and just sending them off with some cold cuts could be detrimental to them. Just be mindful. It's not a scare tactic. I don't think it's everywhere, but they are advertising it. Good morning, Carbon Q. They're advertising it, so just be mindful. And the reason why we buy the plant-based by the case at Costco is because it has a longer shelf life. It's listeria. Okay, thank you. Just be mindful. Because I think a lot of people do consume plant-based milk. They're not drinking cow's milk anymore. And I don't know what to tell you. I'm consuming the milk in my cupboard because I had it since the pandemic, and some of the stuff I have has honestly been expired, and I ain't wasting nothing. We're using the tuna fish that I saw. It says 2017. We're still eating it. I had a sandwich. It wasn't no problem. It's sealed. The can wasn't leaking or bubbling. Like, it was fine. But those are the recommended dates. So now I'm cleaning my cold room. I'm cleaning my garage because I had to actually open the door to my garage to air it out. It's still a little moist in there. Water did get in there, so I have to quickly do some more cleanup. Otherwise, if there's another flood, it's going to be a problem. And they're calling for rain this coming week, so I don't know. Got to make sure I have some things in place. Now, there's some things in the news that I saw, just random stories that piqued my attention. Um, there's this 80-year-old man. Don't ask me where he was, city, but I can't remember. But some neighbor came and attacked him. A naked neighbor at that came and was attacking him. And I don't know if the neighbor had a mental crisis and was hitting the 80-year-old with a brick. The family had a few months prior adopted a dog. The dog looked like a pit bull like dog. Don't know the exact breed, but had that kind of look. And the dog pinned down the naked neighbor and I guess put him in a lock and a vice grip and held him down until the family came and realized what's going on. So he saved that man's life. The man's in the hospital. That may have been on the news all over, but that just caught my eye. So that dog, they weren't gonna get a dog. Some people need a dog for protection. You don't even realize it because if he doesn't live alone, but he's an elder, he was home alone or he wasn't around people, and some weird neighbor just decided, I'm gonna take you out today. I don't like the way you're looking at me. I don't know. Funny, not funny. Um, yeah, feral neighbor attack sounds about right. Yeah, it's what happened to your clothes? So some of you, like, I don't really have a dog. I don't want a dog, but if I do have a dog, I want a bigger dog. My friend's like, "Oh, get one like hers." She has a toy dog, or a little. He's very cute. If you guys have seen him on my lives, Fife, Fife dog, in Ode Tribe Called Quest. So he's a really cute dog, and he can alert you, but he's not a dog that's gonna pin down nothing. He may think he can because he has Napoleon complex, but he can't do nothing of that sort. So I would get a bigger dog just for that protection. So, you know, everything is not for everybody, but you'd be surprised that yeah, Fife. I told her to name him Quest. I like Quest better, but she named him Fife. And he has a bone medallion with the name in it. But yeah, people who get it know what's his name, Fife, Fife dog, and they start laughing because you can tell they're from that era. So he is a smaller dog, cute dog, will alert you, but he's not gonna pin down nobody. So she lives with her boyfriend, which is fine. But if it was by herself, she might have to get a bigger dog. But bigger dogs, I don't know how you guys walk them because I couldn't even walk Five. Five is dragging me down the road. So you might purse dogs would be high. So yeah, just keep an eye on what's happening because maybe you're thinking, oh, I don't want one, but maybe you might need one for your area just to alert you of what's happening. It's important to have cameras around your property because there's some weird things happening, like the neighbor coming to your yard naked. Good morning, Miss Fee. I guess clothes was not an option that day. Also, I'm just looking at Instagram. I think Carbon had something on her feed that was something to mention. Let me just go back to her feed. There's something. Give me a second. There's a few things that happened. I guess you guys all know about that story about the lady. Again, I don't have all the details. Don't tell me when and where. I am bad with small details when I don't read it thoroughly. A lady called the police because she thought someone was on her, break and enter, and then she got deleted. I believe the body cam was released now, and the officer was if not charged, arrested for her I guess murder. I don't know how you call the police for help and then you end up getting deleted. Like, that's going to be a very interesting case, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be watching that. And this is exactly why people are afraid to call the police, because it's so risky. It depends on who you get. And depending on who you get, that would make or break the experience or literally cause harm to you. Let me find the story. So that is one thing. People are still cleaning up from Beryl, those in the Caribbean. That's a lot of work and a lot of money. So if you see you're part of a Caribbean group and they're asking for donations, think about donating, and then we all have our family to send money back to. That's also another thing. Um the outage that happened, that whole global outage, I didn't even know what was happening. It didn't affect me on my internet. Nothing happened to me, but those who are traveling, ooh, wasn't good, wasn't cute. Oh yeah, I had a cat. I had two cats. Uh Now the guy, no, I didn't know humans were feral. I thought it was only cats and dogs. Good morning, Teacher P. This is craziness. So yeah, so there's a lot. I don't know if my family has power in Jamaica. They My aunt did not, and the phone service was in and out. So we haven't really heard much from them. She usually is on WhatsApp. I haven't seen, so I don't know if they even have reliable internet right now, or power. And before this, JPS was never really reliable anyway. So yeah. So the global outage is a problem. I'm not sure if it affected people's banking. I think it kind of did, but Just keep prepared, and being without power is going to be a thing that we might have to deal with. So even over here, people lost power. I don't have backup power. I'm shopping around for something affordable just to start off, because things in these streets aren't looking too good. Some people, yeah, naked. Some places in Jamaica still without yeah, I'm telling you, I don't think she has power. Um, and in Jamaica, you can imagine she said everything in the fridge was gone. Mind you, the fridge, it's not just, I'm not being shady, but the fridge is down there. It's not the same as over here. They don't get as cold as over here. So it's almost like a small cooler. And then when the power's out, it's like literally nothing. I don't think they have enough power in their grid to keep things like how we have here. The fridge and the freezer really ice cold. So her fridge is pretty much gone. So I don't know what she's doing. If she has canned stuff, she should have enough canned stuff. They have gas stoves and it's propane tank, so it's not like it's electric. My uncle has an outdoor kitchen where he cooks outside. Anyways, he never really used the indoor kitchen, so that the smells were outside. They have a barbecue, so they can cook, but probably not meat. It's probably going to be rice, ground provisions, and greens, which is fine, and maybe some tinned meat. But it's a struggle. And when you don't have light in Jamaica and power, it's pretty much dark at what 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, and nothing to do but fall asleep because what are you gonna do in the dark? It makes life a little bit boring. So they're having a difficult time. So yeah, there's a something on Instagram. So it's talking about the outages. So emergency supplies. So it says stock up on essentials like food and water, medications, first aid kits to last your family at least 72 hours, and that do not require refrigeration or cooking in case of a power outage. Um, the one, it's Discovery Bay. I have one person there, Teacher P. Somebody I know is our main family house is outside of Brownstown, so just up outside of Brownstown. Then a place called Retreat, and then I have some people in but they came up here actually. They're here now. They're from what a place outside of Kingston, near the off the new highway, the exit. Not Kings. It's not Kingston. I have people in Falmouth and I have people in Montego, but the place on Kingston, all I know is the exit off of the new highway. I can't remember the exit name. If not, can't remember the name. Can't remember the name. Yeah, St. Anne's. Somewhere else off of Kingston. I didn't check my friend family in Constant Springs. I don't know if they even have power and that side, Stony Hill area. But there's another family member somewhere else. Can't remember the name there. They said it's okay, but the trees had fallen but didn't damage nothing. Hey, regenerative life, Wayne. So get yourself together, because I've been telling them in Jamaica from time. Start a garden, have certain things, and excuses. Didn't say nothing. I said you better have something that you can grow on your own property so you have at least some essentials. I don't understand how I go to Jamaica and I have to go to the market to go buy like thyme and scallion and callaloo, like those things I should never have to buy. You guys should have something on your property growing. Excuse. Now this happened. I don't think anyone's at the market selling. I'm not sure in the Brownstown market. I can't tell you. I haven't heard nothing. What's the food are you going to be cooking? Everything from a tin? That's not really healthy. Communication plan. Do you have communication? Well, internationally, no. Locally, yeah. Stay informed. I don't have a crank radio. I think I need to get something like that. Battery powered. And I checked some of my emergency like stuff that had batteries left in it, and the batteries are corroding. I caught them in time, I think. Don't leave batteries in the stuff. Leave the batteries in the battery pack separate. And I think they have like a case for your batteries to keep them kind of individual, because when one corrodes, it might ruin the whole pack of batteries. You don't want to have to buy things 2 and 3 times, which is why I was so upset. I was like, oh my God, If the toilet paper and the paper towel get damaged, that's like a lot of money. I have a couple of packs because of each, because of when the pandemic, the toilet paper scandal of 2020, we were all buying toilet paper. And I still have toilet paper from that time because it's at the back and I keep buying new one at the front. So nothing got damaged, thank God. But don't keep things on the floor. Get a skid and give yourself at least 6 inches grace. And if it goes beyond that, you can't really control that. But don't put yourself on the ground. Emergency contacts, including utility companies, in case you need to get things cut off. Mental well-being, also important. But there's something else. There's another story that came up. Oh, this is a story. I think, yeah. Carbon posted a story on her feed. This man and his son designed a sandbag that does not need sand. You wet the bag and something inside of it, like a jelly thing, swells up and becomes a 30-pound bag. I don't know if you guys saw this, but this, I was like, and then when you put it in the sun and it dries out, it goes back flat and back to basically under a pound or less than half a pound. And it's reusable, from what they said, up to 3 times. This is an excellent idea. I was like, did I like this video? I should like the video. This is ingenious. And he went through some kind of tragedy. His house, everything burned down. And I guess it just pushed him to be more creative. But these storm bags can be reused 3 times, so you don't have to be running around finding all these sandbags. That was also good for preparedness. There is also something else. Okay. Now, the individual that we talked about last week that was in Dollar Tree or dollar store, and he ejaculated on one of the workers on her leg. He turned himself in. And from what I understand from another podcast I was watching, one of the rappers put out a cash reward if anybody can identify who it was and basically get him arrested. So I guess the guy turned himself in. When the guy turned himself in, I think he's in the music industry. He's just weird. He's a weird dude. And there are some other people who came forward. Again, this is just hearsay. I'm not, look it up yourself. I'm not a news broadcaster. This is more of a Saturday morning gossip session. So it cannot be counted as actual facts. So other people came forward and said, yeah, something similar happened with this individual. Something not too right in his brain. How are you walking around dollar store fondling it? Like these people are sick in their head. So somebody said that he entered their home and was standing over their older mother and doing that. And I guess I don't know if they were dating this person or whatever happened, or he's just a weird dude. Really weird. So yeah, you can't let people like that just walk these streets, because he was doing it from before. And now that he did it to this girl, she recorded, him running from the Dollar Tree, and she was upset. Somebody put in a cash reward, and he turned himself in, because basically what was going to happen was, it wasn't really a bounty on his head, but it was an incentive for people to make sure he got in. Good morning, Bean Juice. He was doing it in the store. Like, these people are weird. They're not, keep your head on swivel. People are walking up and down stores and they're not really shopping. They're not picking up anything, and their hands are just in their pocket or whatever their hands are. Just keep your head on swivel. There's too much diseases in these streets to be having people, putting their juice on other strangers. And then something else happened this week. Something else weird happened this week. Very weird, but I can't remember because I didn't take and jot it down. I'm looking through the I think that was about it, maybe, but whatever pops back in my mind, I'll mention it. Now, gardening, homesteading, getting prepared. Now's the time I think most people in warmer climates are talking about fall garden. I don't really have a fall garden per se, but I guess you could say a next succession of planting because, you know, this weather has been fall like for me as far as I'm concerned. The overnight temperatures are very cool. Not like winter cool, but if you're growing okra and like tomatoes, it's not hot enough for these plants. So my okra, I haven't seen not even one flower on there. I haven't seen it's not even past of 12 inches. It's really not growing very well. I planted two more that I had started in a container. It's growing, but not at a very good pace. So my cushaw, I had planted two. One I went up there's dead. One is still going. The cucumbers are growing, but again slow. I don't know what's happening, but I'm not gonna focus on that for a second planting. I'm done. If whatever grows, grows. I have some watermelon that needs to go into a proper container. I'm gonna focus on, and I think you all should do the same. Focus on what's doing well and do a second planting of those things. The weather in some of these areas, my area has not been ideal for hot temperature plants. My tomatoes have blossom end rot. It wasn't inconsistent watering, but when it was all this rain we've been having and oversaturating the plants, and then by the time it dries out, it rains. It's really challenging this year to do the warm weather plants. The fig trees are looking good. I see one little fig growing on one of them out of all four. If I don't get fruit, that's fine. I am propagating. Let me show you the one that I propagated. I had three. Only one made it. I've done two more, and I'm gonna have three. So let me show you. We'll show Odom two of them. The leaves are busted out. Hold on one second. Be right back. Good morning, unbiased. 1 second. Let me show off my little seed. It needs watering. I just watered it yesterday, and the cup feels dry, so I'm gonna have to water it again. But whoops. So this is the one that I had from before. It's doing very well. It's leafing out. Its new limbs and stuff are growing. So that I'm sure has a root. This is brown. These are all brown turkey. This one I just cut off. Maybe I don't know. It's smaller. It's just like maybe 2 inches. I cut off all the leaves and just put the stick in there, and I scraped the bottom, put rooting hormone. This is a brand new leaf that's pushing out. So I think this one is doing well. The third one, I don't see a new leaf. I cut off the leaf, same thing. Hopefully it's doing okay. So I'm gonna do the other ones, the other varieties that I have, three more. And if I can get some more trees going, that's fine with me. If I don't get fruit, that's okay. I'm just building my orchard and making sure that I have what I need. That's the drugs in it. Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on, guys. Just keep your eyes peeled and be careful. Um, there's some weird people in this world. So that's what I'm doing. I'm propagating my fig trees. My pear tree was okay with fruit. I don't see much fruit on there. Some of it fell off. The tree blew over with the wind. The squirrels are doing some foolishness. So I'm going to be lucky to get two pears off that tree because everything else it budded this year, but some animal is knocking them off. The apple tree, I knocked off a few by accident myself with it blowing over and me picking it back up and trying to get it into a good spot. Um, I might get 5 apples. Well, it's not in the ground, so what do I really expect? So I'm going to be focusing on some more berries, which I bought some last week at a really good deal. And I'm going to look for another location to get some more and really expand the type of raspberries, blueberries. I found some volunteer strawberries in my garden. I put them back in the central area. All my volunteer tomatoes this year, I was like, where are these coming from? I realized this week after I gave my chickens a seeded watermelon to eat and I cleaned up the coop every morning. I saw pretty much piles and piles of whole seeds under the roost. So they ate the seeds and it literally passed through. So most likely than not, in the compost bin and when I put the chicken salad in a bed, the seeds will wake up. I'm going to be seeing volunteer plants all over the place, which is good. Free food is always good. So that's what's happening. And the volunteer tomato plant, we broke off 2 stems by accident, put them in water. They rooted. They're living their best life. I have a whole half a bed full of tomatoes that I really didn't plant and another one somewhere else. So that's what's happening. You really can't mess up once you start gardening. Things just pop up on their own. So that's what's going on over here. Now, I have to pick up some more seeds. I had a gift card because I had got a reward for the herb garden challenge. So I'm going to be doing selecting some seeds from Baker Creek. That's where I got the coupon for. And I'll be doing a video on what I get when I get them in here, the haul. And I've basically picking some more herbs for the next year's challenge. I'll be going through some of the herbs that I picked for the current 2024 and discuss their benefits. And I'm going to be starting to harvest some of them to dry. I'm actually late to harvesting them and get them dried and get them in jars and get them ready to go. I had a weird thing happen this week. Not weird, but somebody had given me some jam from before, an elder, and she made me jam, and I don't go through it fast enough. So the 2 newer ones are closed, and there was a mini one that was not with a mason lid. It was a different kind of lid. I was gonna open it, and I kind of was picking it up, and I turned it to put it somewhere, and then the jam kind of moved, and then I could see that there was a mold on top. So I opened it, mold. So I had to throw it out. I don't know what new lids and things people are using for canning, but they're really not working. I don't know. I don't. I like the regular mason jar or whatever ball canning jar, the canning lids, whether you're water bath canning or steam canning or not. These other lids that are like a regular lid, like the pasta when you buy pasta, the all-in-one lid, they don't always work, and they may have a seal, but there's still a little bit of a gap on the sides. I don't know how they can those jars, but I don't think it's just a regular putting in a hot pot kind of process. I think they have a special process because those jars were not opened. The seal was still intact, technically, but they already had mold. And then the one in the fridge that I was kind of using already got mold, starting to get moldy. So I just threw them all out. I'm not sure I'm going to mention it to her because some people get very sensitive, but it should have kept longer than, like, it's jam. Jam is not. It's like making pasta sauce. It's acidic. It shouldn't be getting moldy so quick. It wasn't like there was meat in it. Um, yeah, I'm not sure about these canning lids, these new lids. And if you're gonna give people food, make sure you have use the lids and have things in your shelf for a year to make sure that they keep, because they were not they were not fresh. And some of the spores were so tiny that you wouldn't really notice it. You would think it was just, I don't know. It just looked like nothing. And when I looked at it, I'm like, nah, that's a spore. I threw it out. It's unfortunate because you put all that time and effort to make something, but if the lids aren't good quality and it's not holding the seal, it's hard enough making sure you don't have botulism, never mind using lids that are going to increase that process. So be very careful of what you're buying and trying. If you're going to try it, fine. Just don't give food away. Watch it on the shelf, see what happens, and make sure that it can hold the freshness, because it's very, very dangerous. What else is going on? I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? I'm not gonna go on too long today because I gotta go finish cleaning up the cold room. I've been throwing out stuff and getting stuff sorted. What I did notice was back to the storage, my storage cupboard that got flooded. Kind of, I had several cases of water. There's one particular case at the bottom, which is of a different brand. That's the Costco one. The ones on top are different. The ones on top were a bit more firmer bottles, and the case was a bit more firmer. The Costco one, the bottles are not very firm and sturdy. Like, you can literally just, even with water in it, kind of almost crush it down, if you know what I mean. They're very flimsy. Those ones are all warped and weird shaped and probably gonna leak. So I'm glad that I'm now gonna use those ones first. So I put them in a glass jar in the fridge. I poured it out. I put them in the kettle to use. I'm using it to I made some tamarind juice this morning, so I used bottled water to thin it out. Just be mindful. These bottles of water don't store very well. They don't keep and they don't stack very well. With acidity levels, apparently the newer vinegar bottles have reduced from 7 to 4. Some of Yes, I've noticed that somebody else mentioned that you have to read the bottles. Some of them have changed, some of them have not, especially the newer ones. I have some bottles from the old from 2020 because when I'm cleaning out the room, I found about 5 bottles of vinegar in the room. Could never get to them, but they're there, so I pulled them out. I have bottles of oil, olive oil, avocado oil, all kind of stuff under there, but you couldn't get to it because it's overly packed. So I'm gonna have to taper down what I have. There's no point of having 50 million things if you can't get to even one of them. And it's just moisture and mold and potential. Like it's just not simplify what you need. There's somebody in the community. I'm watching her journey. I'm not gonna say her channel name out loud in terms of people running over there just to like be in people's business. Oh, good morning, Rooster. Thank you. There's a lady in our community. I'll give you a hint. She has 2 channels. One about artwork canvassing and was about gardening. We haven't seen her in a minute, but she did post 2 videos recently, and I believe she's now living in her car. I don't know what she didn't say what's going on, but she's living in her car. And the last video I watched, she was um, going through her day. She's still working, but she's living in her car. And somebody commented on the comments that she looks happier. And I'm like, yeah, like she does look happier. There's something liberating about not having so much stuff. And that's kind of what I'm moving towards. Like you just have so much stuff and it's not being used. It doesn't have a purpose. Oh, I'm going to fix that and it's been 2 years and the thing's not fixed. Just don't get rid of it. Donate it, give it away and have what you actually are going to need. I'm not saying be in lack, but just have what you need. I have too much stuff. I'm even looking right now at this stuff. I have a mouse that don't work. I have this that don't like some things need to be thrown out. Note to self, these 2 are going to be thrown out actually. Does this even work? Let me put a battery in it, make sure they don't work. This one I know has a short. These needs to throw out. It's just too much stuff. Clutter. It's just and it actually adds to your anxiety and it just makes you feel overwhelmed. Let's just, change what we're doing and also support her channel. She has a very interesting story. And I think some people had shared the video, but if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. You probably were already subscribed to her, but I don't want to say it and then everyone's just running over there to be nosy. Check out what's going on and what she's sharing in her journey. And that's pretty much that. But it's a lady. It's a lady, if you know who I'm talking about. What else? Hello there. How to garden. I don't know if I've seen you before. You look familiar though. What else happened? I'm not sure what else happened. I'm just trying to think. This week, I haven't been cooking that much lately. I've kind of been like not feeling like cooking. And then when it's hot, I definitely don't feel like cooking. But I made some lamb chops this week. I'm supposed to have a meal, and I ended up just eating all the lamb chops. It was just so good that I didn't make the rice. I didn't make nothing else. I just ate the lamb chops. Mwah. Chef's kiss. I have some kohlrabi. I'm gonna try to make kohlrabi fries, and if they taste good, which they probably will, like really. Good morning, Jova. Yeah, okay, Big Roots. Okay, good. I'm not being sneaky. I just don't want to say people's name and then it's like people just being nosy. If you're already supporting her, you know who I'm talking about. I'm gonna make kohlrabi fries. I'm gonna try them out. I might do a video. it's hard to do a recording and cooking it. Like, I don't have all this equipment, but I'll try to record it. If it tastes good, I'm probably going to grow more kohlrabi. I'll plant some more because for the second wave of gardening, that's a good 2 for 1. You have the bulb and you have the leaves. Because my kale, these white cabbage moths be rude. My bok choys, the earwigs, and the snails have been out of order this year. But I got food to eat. So I'm not complaining. I do have food. Good morning, Bayou. I have a lot of food to eat. But pick things that are going to do well because we don't have time to be fighting with the bugs. Right now, the bugs are going to be tapering down. By the time fall comes, I'm not going to really see the white butterfly. Maybe, maybe not. So I'm going to do another batch of kale. I already planted some more lettuce, some more spinach. And I'm also going to be just scaling back. I have a lot of things that I bought for like, oh, SHTF, like food items. I haven't even eaten it. I ate some of them. I don't even like it. It doesn't taste it doesn't taste like real food. I don't mean to be picky, but it just doesn't taste good to me. If I was starving, would I eat it? Of course. But if I have a choice to pick some other brands that are more appealing to me, let me figure those things out first before I start buying these things by the case. It don't make no sense. And I'm going to be scaling back. Do you realize in that cold room, I have a TV box from a TV that I got rid of, and the box is still in the cold, like it's just there? Like I couldn't get to it. So that box is going in the garbage. I gave a TV away, and the person I gave it to for the Airbnb, the TV is working perfectly. Not perfectly, but I don't know what happened over here. Maybe, who knows? The TV's gone. They have a free TV and it's in their Airbnb so they can use it for their black box. I don't know why it wasn't working for me, but it is what it is. The box needs to go. We need to go through our stuff and just lighten our load. It's just too much clutter for me. I don't know about you. Maybe you're already uncluttered. I'm cluttered. The amount of pillows and throws, ladies like to have pillows and throws. 50 million of them to go with different color coordinations depending on the scheme that you have for that particular week, and then this and that, just too much stuff. Too much stuff. I'm done. I am done. Now, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys. So I went to the respiratory place and I got the CPAP machine. I got it on Monday. Was it Monday? Yeah, I got it on Monday. I think Tuesday was the flood. It was around the same time. I think Tuesday was a flood. Um okay, so okay, hold on. I must go see. I've been communicating with her and she just kept saying it's rough, but I'll be okay. I don't know what the problem is either, Miss Renaissance. If you have a relationship with her, like actual like phone number and stuff, or been in communication, then find out. But it's it's a bit, I don't want to use my words correctly. It's a bit weird because we didn't know anything was going on, and then now it went from house to living in a car. So obviously something happened in between, or something was happening. So just if you can, support her, like, and listen to her and help her out, that would be great. Like, uh, a shoulder to listen to her concerns and be there for her. That would be good because everyone needs to talk to somebody. That what she's dealing with is heavy, and she may need to just talk to somebody. But yeah, I don't know what I was talking about. I was talking about a whole bunch of stuff, but I got distracted. Squirrel moment. But sleep app machine. Sleep CPAP machine. So I picked it up and I've been using it. I haven't been using it every night, all the entire night. The first night it was 2 hours because it tells you. Because I felt like something was on my face and took it off. Second night, same thing. Third night, same thing. Last night I didn't put it on at all because it had me the night before so tired. The machine was the mask wasn't I had the nasal mask, not the full face mask. It wasn't, it was leaking and the air was flowing. And I felt this breeze like a plane, like the vent blowing in my face. I'm like, what? Just fling it off. So 6 hours has been the longest. But it is helping in terms of, well, when it's not leaking and disturbing my actual sleep. I'm not as tired in the daytime. Like I was sometimes like tired. I had to take a lunchtime nap and it wasn't itis. It was just tiredness. So it is working, but I do have to get used to it. It's a bit weird. And if I can't wear it the whole night, at least 4 hours should help. And it tells you how many incidents of, I guess, when you stop breathing. It's not a lot. So I'm on the low end of the spectrum, thank God. So it's not a bad case. And I'm monitoring my blood pressure to see what's going on. I don't see any improvement, mind you, but the machine is kind of stressing me out. So maybe I have to kind of wait and just monitor everything. Good morning, Tamika. I don't think I said hi to you. And it wasn't itis. No, it was literally like some people say, "Oh, you had something." No, it wasn't itis. It was it's this it's disturbing my sleep. It's not noisy, it's not loud, but sometimes you feel like something's on your face, and then you're sleeping, but you're conscious enough to know that you're not fully asleep. And it's very you don't get a good night's sleep. You're very tired. So last night I did not put it on, and I just slept, and I slept pretty well. So I'm gonna try it again tonight. So I'm gonna clean the machine. Actually, when I finish the live, I want to clean all the tubes and stuff, put them to dry. Maybe not. I think you're supposed to do it earlier. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow morning so it can dry all day, and then dry it. And then you have to use distilled water. So, which is not a big deal. I buy it for my hydroponics anyways, but this is another thing I have to be conscious of. If I can't get access to distilled water, you know, what am I going to do? So I will be doing some stocking up on distilled water and making sure I have access to that, because I need to have power to run the machine, and I'm going to need distilled water, which other people have had that concern from before me. So nothing new, but I need to make sure I have what I need in place. And what I need in place right now is a lot of things, a lot of, powered solar power. Um, we have a gas generator. We have not propane, kerosene heaters that still need to be tested, and they haven't been tested to make sure they're working. And last winter, that was the assignment, wasn't completed, and we need to make sure that they're working. I need to get another cooktop. I have a barbecue with a side burner, but I want something else, a little smaller, more portable, to cook outside, so I can have two things going. I can bake in the barbecue part, I can, cook on the side burner, and I can do something else on another burner. And I don't know if I should get the butane. If somebody in the audience can help me. I don't want to buy things that it's like a one use. Like I know you buy those small green propane tanks. Do they have maybe Jova, do they have refillable ones, those small ones? I don't want to just buy one use things. It doesn't seem very sustainable. And if I buy a butane cooktop thingy, are those refillable? I don't want to buy one use things. Or should I get the kerosene cooktop that's more refillable? If someone doesn't mind letting me know, I'd appreciate that, because I don't want to buy, and it's like you're just buying all these small tanks, and you have to buy 50 zillion tanks. I want to be able to refill it. Good morning, Gina. I want to be able to refill it, or, if it's propane, use my big tank to transfer some gas to that. I don't know how it works, but something that's more refillable. Otherwise, I'm just going to get good old charcoal and use that, because I don't have I don't want to have all these things stocked up and stored up. To me, it's just making me feel, just thinking about it makes me irritated, and it's going to bring back more clutter again. And I don't want all that stuff. I'll have the big propane tanks, the regular barbecue size ones. I'm probably going to get the larger ones that I see some of y'all have in the States, but in Jamaica, we have the jumbo ones that we use for the stove and stuff, and just get one big tank, and then just, use that for cooking, and charcoal. I don't want to have to butane and all these other things to worry about. I already have kerosene, so that's what I was saying. Kerosene. I can get a kerosene camp cooker and like individual stove, and I can even boil water with that. You can hold on. You can get a refill kit, but you have to do it yourself. Is that sorry? Is that for the Which one is that? Is that for the butane, or is that for the propane? Just to clarify. Um, I will definitely be reaching out. We've been chatting since she left the scene, and she was always So, yeah. Check on her, please. Good morning, Bamet. Oh, there's a kit you can buy. Thank you. Um, because some of the stores don't have these things in a way that you can find them. You look up certain words on the website and it doesn't pop up. So maybe I have to go to the Bass Pro Mill shop, that store or something else, and figure it out. Oh, for propane. Okay, I don't want to buy these small tanks and have to throw. It doesn't even make sense. So I want things that are refillable. But back to our sister. Yeah, check on her. Check on her. It's just weird because I'm sidebarring a lot today. Sorry. I didn't have a feeling about her, but I was feeling a way. Like I was feeling so awful. I would say about 2, 3 weeks ago. I had my own stuff going on, but it was more than just my own stuff. It was, hey, Miss Shirley, good morning to you. It was like heavy. It wasn't normal. I had to stay in my house for 2 days in my bed, just like wallowing in misery. It was not normal. And then I'm like, then she came to my mind. And then 24 hours after that, the first video came out because she hasn't posted in a long time. And I'm like, it made sense. And then I know my petty crew, the Charlie's Angels, checked on me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just dealing with some stuff, my stuff, but then the other stuff didn't make any sense. It was just a weird feeling. I can't put it into words. I just know it was weird. She came to my mind, and then Tutu, she put up a video, and it kind of made sense because I have that kind of gifting, but it's not always clear. The gift doesn't always clearly tell you who who's the one. You have to sometimes figure it out or just be open to say, okay, I'm trying to see who's in a bad state. And I think she's not in a bad state. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying she's going through stuff. So don't add to what I'm saying. Don't, twist it around and don't make it a whole scrambled egg. People are going through stuff and they're doing their best that they can, but having a support and a friend is priceless. Try RV suppliers. They usually have yes. Thank you. Camping because I'm trying to get into that side of things. And even going now that I have chickens, I have access now in the feed. I'm like, oh, they have this, they have that. Oh, I didn't know. A whole new world. So that's what I'm doing. Good morning, Nikki. Good morning, Tree Rogi. Those propane exchanges rip you off by 2 pounds. Go to places that refill your tanks live. Will completely fill your tanks. Yeah, I've done the exchanges, and that reminds me. Thank you. You guys are just bringing up stuff that's reminding me of other stuff. Eco Neighbor put up a video this week about, did you know that your tanks expire? I didn't know that until it happened to me. So I know now. I knew when I found out, but prior to that, I did not know that the tanks expire until I went to go fill up a tank at either Costco or somewhere, and they said, "Oh, the tank expired," and then he's taking the tank. I said, "No, throw what away." I said, "No, give me back the tank." And I took the tank to an exchange place to get a new tank already filled up because had I not done that, I had to buy another tank, which was about at that time it was $60. I'm sure it's higher than that now. So I used the exchange just to get rid of the old tank, and then now I have a tank. I think it's 5 or 10 years. So I did not know that they expire. So note to self, in case you guys didn't know or you forgot, put down somewhere clearly that you can see on the tank, because the tank has a marking, but you don't always notice it when it expires, so that you can change the tank, exchange it well before, and not have this tank that nobody wants to take. No, not the gas, the tank. The tank. The tank was empty. I used it up, I went to go refill it. And the tank itself, there's a certain time they expire because I guess the metal could have corroded. Maybe it's not holding the gas in. Maybe it's not safe. There's a reason. And it's probably a very good reason. But I never in my life knew until I was a grown adult. Because I guess my parents, we never changed. We never changed the tank. Mind you, we use a lot of charcoal, and maybe that's the problem. We weren't paying attention. But there's a tag on the tank So when you know it's going to expire, you make sure it's all empty, use all the gas, and then you go in and exchange it for a new tank before you go to try to refill it. Because if you refill it, they want to just throw out the tank. Oh, you can't use this tank and throw it out. I said, no, 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 no. And then they go and take it in to get refurbished, and then they can resell the tank. But yes, so good advice, guys. Go to RV suppliers, go to these places, and get larger tanks and get a tank kit that you can refill. You can refill expired oxygen. Everyone's oxygen has been expired if you live in a house. The amount of fumes. Get that source. So I'm going to be looking into that. I don't want to be buying all these small thingy tanks. So I'm going to get an adapter for those small stoves. I saw something on the this is also what I don't like. I've been shopping at the blue store, not the hardware store, the other blue store, the Wally's. And I don't know what they did. I like to go on the website, pick what I want, and then go in the store and shop, knowing that it's in stock. Everything's like almost like an Amazon kind of environment. Like you have to order it online and buy it online. And then it's some kind of vendor. And then when you look on the fine print, it's so much to ship it to the store to pick it up and so much to ship it to your house. So I saw a cooler. I wanted to get a cooler for my car so I can have my fruits and stuff in the car, my water, my juices, and make sure that I'm healthy by carrying food with me. It was like $5, $10 for the cooler. The shipping was $38. So why wouldn't I just buy the $38 cooler that has no delivery? Like it didn't make any sense. And this is what's happening on these sites. There's not in-store supply. It's order online only kind of stuff. And it's like their clearance. I saw one for $4, like a really good cooler. And its shipping was like $40, $20, $30. Why am I paying for you to ship it to the store for me to pick it? Like something doesn't make no sense. Something not really too logical in what they're doing. I don't know what they're trying to do, but it's not really a good plan. High pressure tanks must be, oh my god, look at this big word. Hydrostatic tested every 5 years in the US. I think it's the same thing over here. Tanks erode and corrode, and it's not going to hold the pressure. So if you're putting gas in there, it's not holding the pressure. Like you need to make sure the tank is good. So check your tanks. I'm probably going to check mine again because I don't remember when it expires. I don't think it's been 10 years yet, but I think I don't remember. Let me check and put my money where my own mouth is and put a note so I know when I need to change it, because I don't want to have it too long and then have the same problem, and then I have to go and do a swap, and then you do lose 2 pounds. The tank's not as full. Costco seems to be the cheapest place over here to get things filled, and Canadian Tire. Those are the 2 places that I go to. Butane, I don't know if it's just me. I'm not really finding that too appealing. I only use butane for those lighters, those refillable lighters, and I have refilled a couple of them. The refilling process wasn't that straightforward. One of them, maybe it's damaged. It's turning, like it's pushing out cold air and almost freezing. It's not really, yeah. But I have refilled some of my lighters, and it was an easy process. One of them is damaged, throw that out. But that's the only thing I use butane for. I don't really use butane. Do you guys like butane? I'm not really a fan of butane. It doesn't really seem like it's worth buying. I'd rather use gasoline where I can pour it and refill stuff than to use the butane or kerosene, in my opinion. Just the ease of use and the ease of storage. Like if I have a butane tank, like the propane tank, but indefinitely sitting around, is it still going to be actually full? Is it leaking and leaching out? Like what's happening? Is it even worth me having that? I don't think so. So you let me know in the chat if you like using butane. Is it is it efficient? I don't feel that it is. I haven't researched it, but I don't feel that it is. You need to purge the lighter, then refill it. Yeah, I did purge it. I purged it. But I think I damaged it when I was purging it. I put a knife tip in there. And I think when I attach the refill, it's not flow. It's, yeah. And then I read something about the butane is heavier. You got to do, I don't know. I read something, I did it, and I followed YouTube instructions and I did it. I refilled them because I was buying a lighter every. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I have about 15 lighters and they're all empty. I don't smoke, but I use them to light, the torches, um, candles, stuff like that. Um, Also, what happened? My lawn needs mowing. It needs mowing. I haven't mowed it yet because it's been raining so much every time. It's I can't do it. I have now a plug-in mower. I don't have the gas. Well, I have a gas, but it's not running properly. So the neighbor and his friend decided to. He hasn't mowed his lawn maybe one time this season. So you don't know how his backyard been looking. If you see my videos, you see the bush next to my fence. It's a jungle. Um, I guess he cleaned up the front, and his friend were weed whacking. So they weed whacked my half of the lawn. They didn't weed whack my boulevard part near the street, and they didn't do the other part. They did that part. So it's like now I have a half mode. It looks ridiculous. Anyways, I've talked to him before about it, but it's like you talk to people and their bandwidth isn't bandwidthing. It like they have a short. There's a short in the electricity that's supposed to flow, and they don't understand basic concepts. And you don't want to be rude, but you're kind of being rude because it's like, are you this dumb? But then you can't say that because then you're gonna get told off by your family that you're being rude. So then you don't say nothing. But anyways, they weed whacked the property. Good morning, wellness with Frugal Mama. They weed whacked it. And I told the guy, when you mow the lawn, when you mow my half of the lawn, when you mow any lawn, you don't mow it low. They're Caribbean. They think like, okay, I'm gonna just chop it all the way down to nothing. Then I don't have to mow it again for the next 6 years. But what happens is in the suburban urban environment in North America, you make the lawn look brown because then it just sun just beating on it and it's brown. If you want your lawn to look green, you have to leave a certain amount of lawn. So you have to raise the lawn more to a certain height so that you mow it and it stays green and it's not getting damaged. The man weed whacked it to nothing. Like it was literally like I was in a field but in Jamaica. Like when they burn the fields and it looked like that. Now that it rained again, we had the flood. It's looking a little greener. I didn't even say thank you. He was outside. I didn't even say thank you because I wasn't thankful. And I'm not. I'm at an age where I'm not gonna lie anymore. I'm just gonna tell the truth or just keep quiet. So I didn't say thank you because I wasn't thankful. I was not remotely thankful. And if you're gonna mow it badly, just mow the whole of it badly. Don't just mow one little piece and then leave me for go bring the mower down to the front and go all the way to the edge over there and all the way. Just do all of it. Now I haven't been doing his half. We had an unspoken agreement. So when I mow his half. When he mow my half. And then it just make life a little easier for everybody. But since he's not mowing nothing at all, I stopped mowing his half. Screw you. I'm not doing it. And even though it's not much, my dad's like, oh, this is only look. I said, Dad, I said, I know. The man is there and I'm lazy to rotted. I'm not doing it. The window's open, so I gotta keep it down. I'm not doing it. Look at the backyard. My dad just blinked. Exactly. Look at the backyard. Look what I have to look at. Look what I have to deal with. All the mosquitoes and the snail. All the snails are coming from over there. No, not doing it. So he got the point. Yeah, he's not bandwidthing. These like people think they're smart. I don't mean to be rude, but maybe I am rude. But they're not. People are not too bright. They're not too bright. They really, and those are the people you have to be concerned with because they're not very smart and they make more work for you because you have to go fix what they did because they just don't have. They're not smart. They're really, really not smart. I don't know if you guys saw that. I don't know the lady, some rapper or some girl named Suki. I don't even know who she is. All I know is that I saw a clip of her, and the woman said, "Oh, you're an artist, a music artist," and then she was getting upset because she didn't know what the word meant. Like, you know, people are dumb and they don't know what words mean, so they get upset and think that you're insulting them, and you're actually just not insulting them, but they're so basic that they, oh, I'm telling you. And she called her an artist. I don't know what she thought she said, but you just made yourself look real dumb. That's exactly what's happening. And then they always say, yeah, 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 I know, yeah, 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 yeah. And you're like, they don't know a damn thing. All right, cool. And I left it there. Then the same man, let me come close and it's a whisper. This same man this week was watering a plant back there. Maybe it was callaloo. And I'm looking over there like, what are you even watering? It's such a big jungle. You can't even see nothing. And you have the audacity to be watering a plant and you haven't mowed nothing down? And anyways, I had to just go inside. I was so irritated. I went inside. Um, they mow it lower, yeah, so that they think it's gonna make stone. And all you're doing is making your lawn look brown and burnt because when the sun goes onto the lawn, when it's so low, it's gonna burn it. Anyways, this is what I'm dealing with. People are not very smart, and I just have to keep quiet because I'm thinking, is it in the water? Are you drinking the water and it's like frying your brain? Something like literally basic concepts not making sense. And I'm looking at them like, man, you're special. What do you do for a living? And if it's anything in healthcare or medical or something that's dangerous to me, I just take a mental note. If they're ever on duty, don't make them do nothing for you because they will make pure mistakes. They're not. Oh my God. Common sense isn't common, and I think people really have a problem. I think it's the food. I don't know what it is. They're not performing at an optimal level. Basic conversational skills, basic vocabulary, and they don't know somebody. I'm not gonna say who because you're gonna know what I'm talking about. I watched somebody's video this week. I'm not gonna say because it'll be taken as disrespectful. Somebody didn't know what something meant, and I'm like, I was lost. It wasn't a big word. It wasn't anything complicated. It wasn't anything like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. It wasn't nothing, and they did not know what the word meant. And I'm like, I was shocked. And I'm like, man, I guess people aren't reading because when you read, you expand your vocabulary. If you're only watching TVs and watching stuff, unless you're watching people who have a vast vocabulary that you have to listen and figure out what that word means so that you know how to use it. But if it's not that, you're really not. It's a concerning. It's I'm concerned. People are just pretending and faking the funk, and you'll give them instruction or you'll tell them something, and yeah, 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 and they have no clue what you just said, not one clue. And then they go and do something, and then you come back and say, "What the hell is this? It's not what I told you to do." They didn't understand what you said. And all they're doing and it happened quite a few times this week. Some of it's language barrier, some of it's but no, they don't know what you're saying. Tell me that you don't understand me so I can try to explain it to you or show you a video or something else. Don't say yeah, 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 and then I come back and then it's all jacked up. That's what happened. Sometimes you need to tell people pick their yeah. I I'm gone back to reading. I haven't read it because I've been so busy. I play audiobooks again now, and I'm trying to read, which is probably why you don't see me in a lot of all the lives because I got to spend time, reading and reviewing stuff and making sure I know what's going on. And I have to look up words too sometimes. I'm like, but words that are complicated. Some of the words that people be looking up, I'm like, that should have. It's literally grade 4 and 5, 6 level reading, and I'm not exaggerating. Like this is grade 4, 5, 6 level reading. But I guess people weren't pushing reading maybe when they were younger, and now some of those words are total like they have no clue what it meant. even if you don't know what the word means, if you know the root word, you can kind of determine from the root word, okay, it's this, that, because it's from that. No, nothing. Um, and I'm not being judgmental. My parents, my mom was she's sharp, sharp, sharp. My dad is sharp too, but their schooling was limited because of finances in Jamaica. And my dad did a lot of his schooling and finished high school here in Canada as an adult learner. So I'm not judging anybody, but if you're not striving to better yourself, I don't know. It's like you're leaving yourself to be victimized by other people. And this happens a lot in Jamaica, because in Jamaica, I can only, and anywhere, other people, other places too, but I can speak on Jamaica. I have a lot of people in the family, cousins and people. They're illiterate. Good morning, ghetto, the country girl. They're illiterate. They don't have valid ID, and without valid ID and your proper records, you can't open a bank account. So you try to send money to these people, and you have to send it to somebody else to pick it up for them and then give the person the money. So unless the person is street smart enough to know how things work, people can steal from them and not give them the full amount of money and do all kind of stuff. So this happens a lot in Jamaica, where you have people who find they're not formally educated. That's a different conversation, but they don't have a birth certificate, they don't have the proper papers, they never really sought to get them, and then they don't have certain things in place, like banking and utilities in their name and certain things. Some people don't need it, that's fine, but some people, you limit yourself. And it causes problems when you have to have other people handle certain things on your behalf. And a lot of scrupulous behavior happens. Now, the same cousin who can't read and sending her money is also a damn liar. And she was lying to my mom and telling her all kind of stories and guilting my mom. So when I went down several years ago, I said, "Mom, stop sending her money. She's lying." Oh no. Um, my mom was basically saying, "I don't know how hard it is for them when they were kids growing up in Jamaica, because I was brought up here. So I only know this experience. So I don't know how it is." But I knew that she was using my mom's upbringing, like, how hard it was for them, and guilting them so that they always, send money down. Thanks, Jamaica. Good to see you. So I went down with a quest to prove that she's a damn liar. And I did prove her and her daughter and her son, because her daughter started calling, and I'm talking calling back to back to back. You would block a number, they would call from another number back to back to back. I told them to stop calling, and they were just calling, begging, begging, and just, and it's a business. They beg every family member, and before you know it, they're living life better than you. Oh, I need it for school. So I went all over the place and got the evidence. She wasn't going to school. I got a copy of the report. She was absent over 200 days out of the school year. So you're certainly not going to pass any classes. And just got all kind of information. So my mom felt comfortable basically not helping anymore and not feeling guilty, because they were just taking advantage. And that was that. So that pretty much trickled dry. The only time we send money down to that cousin is maybe once a year, usually like, Christmas time. We'll send her some little money and whatever. And I told them, I made it very clear to them, don't lie to me. Don't lie. One of the many things I can't stand is a liar. Don't lie and say you need X, Y, and Z, and you're gonna use it for this. Better you just tell me you want a little money for do whatever, and if I have something, I can send it to you. But don't lie, because when you start lying, I will cut you off all the way, and I don't feel no way about it. I don't care if you're in the hospital for something serious and real, you're not getting another penny from me. And I warn them, and they take it for a joke. My mom is gone to glory now, and you don't have her no more. You got to deal with me. And I already warned you. So if we go down, I'll give her a little something, but nope. Don't feel no way about it. Because everybody has a sob story. The stories are so sobbing, so elaborate, so victimized. Yep, sure. Don't care. Don't care. How could you be like that? Simple. You lied. You lied more than once. You were warned and you kept going. Don't take my sweetness for weakness. Don't take my kindness for weakness. Once you start doing that, I'll cut you off. Cut you all the way off. And I don't care. I don't feel bad. You could be on the road. I'll walk over you and keep going. I don't care anymore. That's just how I stay. I give you a chance. I give you multiple chances. And when I cut you off, I cut you off. So she's been cut off. They don't call no more. They don't have my personal. They have my dad's the house number. They don't call anymore. Same with my dad. I made it very clear to people. You may play him for a fool. You're not playing me for no fool. Because they guilt people. These people are trickified. And that's why now they're calling. We sent some money down for the hurricane to help with certain things, but I'm not going all out because when I was telling you all to grow a garden, to do certain things, I wanted to put some things in place. They had no interest in doing that. You want to live a modern life, a westernized life in Jamaica, and that's not always going to work. You need to keep with the farming and keep certain things working so that you can feed yourself. You can be self-sufficient. You're making yourself reliant on the stores and having an income, and you don't have an income. You're relying on us to send you money. My family knows I'm sick of it, but yep, promised myself this year and last year, make sure I have what I need first and foremost. And then if I have little extras, you can get some, but I'm not putting you guys before myself anymore. I'm not doing it. And I'm not sorry about it. So they're not too impressed with me right now, but don't care. I told them to get things sorted out, get a garden, plant some food. Um, and certain things went on and happened. Even the chickens. Um, one of my family members was doing chickens, but they were running the operation like they're still in the you know North America. You, everybody knows in Caribbean, you don't give no credit. It's cash and carry. What you pay for is what you take with you. Oh, I'll pay you back and all these stuff and doing these. I said, stop doing that. They're not gonna pay you back. They may pay you back one time, then they're gonna borrow back again, and then it's just back and forth. And before you know it, when you add it up, you haven't got your money back. Morning planter. That's how it works. I know how it works. You need to sell what they paid for, and you need to sell to the stores. And they didn't take it to the next step so that they could get the income, because there's no need why they couldn't have had selling meat, the chickens, and selling the eggs. And they didn't try the eggs yet, but they didn't try it because of people right now who never left Jamaica are doing it right now and making a good income. And they're selling it to the stores and they're selling it to the grocers and to people direct. And they wouldn't listen. And now, several years, many years later, we're in the same position. The same position. You have your two hands out having to ask for us to send money overseas to you to get certain things in order. I'm not saying you don't need a helping hand sometime. That's not what I'm saying. Everybody sometimes, especially back home, they need a helping hand. But when they haven't taken the steps that you've told them to become more sufficient, self-sufficient, where they can feed certain things and have certain stuff in hand to maintain themselves, to make it easier for them and for you, you have to keep sending money down, they wouldn't listen. So now that things, and I keep telling them, inflation over here has gone up. Inflation over here has gone up. We know how much it costs to live over here, and they think we're making it up and making up stories. And then I told you my basement flooded. This flooded. That needs to be fixed now because of the damage from the flood. That's gonna cost money to repair. Obviously, there's some kind of crack in the foundation or something that needs to be addressed. That has to be paid for and fixed. I'm gonna have to get this. Never mind the other maintenance that I had to be doing. I'm not complaining, but they don't care. Me, me, send. What are you adding to what are you bringing to the table? And it's really and truly, it's nothing much. I can't even go down there and say, okay, at least when I'm down here at your house, I don't have to worry about food. There's fruit trees and this and that all over the place. I can't even say that. I have to still go buy food. It don't make no sense. It doesn't make no sense. I'm gonna tell my children, you have to be more self-sufficient. I'm not saying you're gonna get it all correct. I'm still working on mine. But to be having to support other people over back home don't make no sense. Do you think we spoil the people back in the island by sending barrels of food and no, I don't think we spoil them, but I think some of the expectations weren't communicated because we do need to help. We do need to help, and there's some things that they cannot get down there, and but yes, the expectation wasn't clear. My other family was gardening. They had a, and they're getting older too, so it's not so easy. They didn't instill them into the younger generation. They didn't have a self-sufficient business that they could have had because they were operating like they're over, in still in the West. They had workers that weren't honest and stealing. They didn't run certain things and they didn't pivot fast enough. They were just set in stone. And some people did steal. I know people did steal. And I think somebody stole one of my uncle's cows. And I asked, and you cannot have, he was too laid back and too, cool and calm and collected. I'm not that way inclined. I'm more like, I tell him up front, if you mess around and find out, basically f around and find out. That's how I roll. I don't go down there and be like, oh yes, and I go down there and I'm a b because you can't make them think that because you're kind and you're nice, they're gonna now start to play with you. So I make it clear he didn't do that. So then they were playing with him, and then he had these new workers, and it was just it was just I didn't trust him, and they came back in the night, and he stole one that's the young cow, and he knew it was him, and he basically said, "If you come on my property again, that's the last thing you're gonna do," allegedly. And the young guy didn't come back. And what people don't understand is when you bite off the hand that feeds you, you don't have any more feeding coming. So unless you have something in play where you're self-sufficient and you can feed yourself, it doesn't make any sense. And they don't think of the long game. I don't know, my nose is so itchy. It's like something irritating me. They don't think of the long game. So they screwed my uncle over, different people. And now he's not going to use you. He's not going to hire you. He's not going to, and then you don't have no other job. You're not going to get a referral or a recommendation. It didn't make sense. Did you plan it all out first before you stole and did dirty? No, you didn't. And then they wonder, and they're back in the same predicament. So at this point, those family members are older, so they're not going to be doing that now. If I go back there, I'm probably going to focus on farming and just maybe eggs, layer hens and doing chicken eggs and maybe doing meat. But I would need people who know how to butcher and any place to butcher. And then I would need to have a place to keep the stuff frozen because the power gets unreliable. So maybe eggs is a better thing because it's not really relying on power. And that's what you do. But some people did get spoiled because sending stuff in a barrel is fine. But when you always send people everything that they want, yes, planter, we did spoil them in that way. When they're calling you asking for Jordans and all these name brand stuff, I didn't send those things. You get what you get. And if you don't want it, too bad. Because I'm not here wearing Jordans. I don't think I've ever, maybe once I had another pair of shoe, like name brand like shoe, but I don't know. So how are you calling me for Jordans? Oh, they want Clark. Oh, they want this and that and the new cell phone and then they get the cell phone and I know and then it's a very rocky area. It's not in the city, and they drop the phone by accident and they lick up the rock and mash up screen mash up. Now it can't get fixed. Okay, and I get another phone, and this is what they do. Oh, one guy, I set down shoes for somebody. It wasn't my family. It was one of the workers for the guy. I sent down shoes, and they were dress shoes for him to wear to church because he was going to church. When we go down there, I don't know what happened, but the man I used the shoes to work in like a farming work shoes, like it was like he never want. I guess he never want those shoes. I didn't say nothing. I look at the shoes. I'm like, and just didn't say nothing. Just took a mental note, and me never said nothing more for him ever again. I don't know how you take the shoes them and go use them like work shoes. Better off you gave the shoes to somebody else who needed a pair of shoes, because a lot of people don't have shoes or dress shoes, so they don't go to certain functions because they don't have the proper clothing. So that's a common problem So you send them a church shoes or a dress shoes for graduation or whatever, so they can go to the function and look together. He was working in the field with the shoes. I was like, okay. So they think that when they call you or request, oh, you're coming down. Okay, can you bring this? Can you bring that? They think that they can tell you what to bring and you better bring what they ask for kind of attitude. Yeah, in that way they have been spoiled. Um if someone was sending me barrels and food for regular basis, why would I want to grow anything? True, Nikki, but they should grow stuff because you can't send everything. You send down things like, certain things like, mostly meat stuff and maybe beans, but you can get beans down there. I send down dry beans. I don't send down the canned beans, but like, tuna, salmon, um bags of rice, bags of beans, different kinds of beans. My aunt came down the other day, and not the other day, last summer, because she hasn't come down this year yet, and then the hurricane now. She wanted. I always sent down a particular kind of beans. I just send down, kidney beans because most of us like kidney bean. And there's different type of beans, red beans. That is, they're slightly different. I don't know the differences in them, but there's some different ones. So she was looking for this other one because she said now that they don't like those ones that I send down because they're too tough. I said, didn't we send you down a pressure cooker and you have about 2 and 3 pressure cookers? Yeah, but even when you cook it down, it just kind of like whatever. Don't get me wrong. I know we have preferences and things that we like more than, you like, maybe you like, pinto beans more than whatever. But then we have preferences. Don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with that. But to be so like, and it's probably not even her, it's probably her husband and the family, them, oh, man, I like them one day, and that. You've never given me a bag of beans. You've never bought me nothing. When I go down there, I have to bring my own stuff and still buy my own stuff because it's like you're the only income. Morning, Darren. Oh, you are telling me saying you don't want those beans. It's too tough. I use those beans. I use multiple kinds of red beans. There's different kinds. Somebody gave me a batch from somewhere else. I don't even know what they're called. I just cook them and use them in the rice and peas and beans and rice recipe, and it's fine. I'm not fussy in terms of saying I don't want it. If I have to cook it, I'll make a recipe that makes it softer. I'll zhuzh it up. This is exactly what irritates my spirit. But I've grown now. I'm not so angry. I'm not so like leave them alone. Because all I'm gonna do now is if I'm gonna see what you exactly you like, you're gonna get zero, a big hole of nothing. Because you can't keep demanding all these things and then you can't, number one, provide it for yourself in the first place, and you're telling me what you want and what you're gonna take. And then secondly, you're not giving nobody else nothing. It's not like a reciprocal relationship. It's always one-sided. How you telling me it doesn't make sense. And this is what they do. And I don't even know which one she likes now. Like, we went shopping and we bought it. And then what we did and what we're doing now differently, it may cost a little more, but this is what we're doing. We just gave the cat, gave her, she was here. We gave her, she got cash from different people, different family members. They didn't want to go shopping. They said, here's, some money, gave her some money, and you go do your shopping. And you buy what you want to buy and pack the barrel, and we'll send some stuff in the barrel, yes, but you pick what you want. And when they have to go shop and buy for themselves and make the dollar stretch, and then they want to look at you and say, oh, can I get a little more? No, no, you're not getting more money. And it's not me being difficult. You need to learn how to use what I gave you the same way I got to use what I earn for my income. Ain't nobody coming and saying, here, have a little extra to fill the gap. I have to pay for it myself. So when she had to shop for herself and see how much things, oh my God, it's so expensive. Things have gone up. Yeah. So when you're telling somebody who saved their money, went shopping, shipped a barrel, or maybe not even shipped a barrel, dropped off something for you to put in a barrel because people brought stuff over to put in a barrel, the audacity of being picky is just, it doesn't make any sense. It really pisses me off. Pisses me off to no end. Anyways, um Yeah, they don't want to grow food, and this is exactly, and the attitude about it, it's really off-putting, plant like really off-putting. So she kind of learned from that a little bit more that okay, when everyone gave her money, and then she has to take the money back and have enough money to clear the barrel and to get it delivered because we're not paying for that. And that was the part of the problem. Good morning, Crooked Peach. People want you to fill a barrel, pack a barrel, ship a barrel, and then you have to send money for them to clear it through customs and get it delivered. So they don't appreciate how much money you're putting into this so that they can have stuff to be self-sufficient in terms of, they don't have to beg, borrow, and steal to feed themselves. So she learned a lesson because it's like I'm getting to a point where I'm tired of talking. If you don't want what I'm sending you, here's $200. Go buy what you can with the $200, and that's it. Oh, now you see how much things cost. And now she's like pinching. When I go out to eat, I'm talking about takeout. I usually don't. If it's a combo, you get the combo. But if you're going to like a Caribbean restaurant or something like that, you all know, I just buy the food. I don't buy the drink because sometimes the drink is all $3-4. So most times I don't buy a drink because it's like, you want to keep the cost down. You can go home and have one of your own drinks that you have, or you'll just drink water. I went and I bought her, and this is what also irritates my spirit because I was raised a particular way, and if somebody offers you something and you want it, you take the something that they offered. You don't ask them for more. Good morning, Brampton. So I went to get soup. No. Yeah. And so I bought her a soup as well. And then my sister was in the car. She gave me her card to buy her soup and buy dad's soup. She said, I'll buy dad's soup as well. Fine. So we bought the soup. I paid for her soup. She didn't have to pay her money for the soup. And then she wanted to buy a drink. She see the drink and she wanted it. And this is how they are, this wanty, getty kind of thing. And then she's putting the coins down to figure out the coins. And then she's like, she was short. And I looked at her. I didn't offer to fill in the gap. Yeah, I was being petty. Because every time you gave her the money, you gave her the budget to spend, and they keep on to come back to you to get a little extra because they're short. No, if you're short, that means you can't buy that item. That's what that should mean. No. They don't take it that way. Can you and she's getting upset and she's getting agitated. I'm just like, um, you know, because I'm like, why are you spending $4 on a drink? We bought the soup and we're gonna go home to have the soup at home, and we're not far from the house. Good morning, All American. We're not far from the house. So when you go home, there's juice at home and there's tea at home. And she got upset and whatnot. Fine. We get home and that drink sat there for days and weeks. And then she didn't even want the drink and then gave the drink to somebody else because she didn't even really want the drink after it was all said and done. And that's why I don't subsidize people any longer, because when it's your money, they spend it like, quick. When it's their own money, they're more selective and more cautious about how they're spending it. And that's how people are across the board. So don't subsidize people. They're gonna keep coming to you like the bank of I would allow, yeah. I couldn't, Brampton, because it's my elder, but this is the cultural differences. Even though we're in the same family, they grew up in their Caribbean and I'm over here. So when I go down there, this is the dichotomy I have to live with, because it's like, I'm Canadian. I am Canadian. I'm a proud Jamaican Canadian and I'm proud of my heritage. But in terms of my life, how I live, I'm Canadian. So you go down there and you're always knocking heads with people because they have a certain mentality. Plus, they think that you come in with your foreign money and it's everything's just like, growing off trees. No, I don't grow money on trees. I grow figs. I have a fig. This is what's on the tree, fruit. When we told them to buy fruit trees and plant, or even like propagate, the trees down there and plant them, no. And then they don't want this, they don't want that. I'm like, how do you not want a tree? You don't have to work. The tree does all the work for you. All you got to do is harvest. And if you don't want to harvest, the food will waste. But it didn't cost you no money. Then you go to the same person will go to the store, the market, and have to go buy mangoes, fruits, oranges, and blah blah blah. And I'm sitting there like, why do you have to buy fruit? You live in Jamaica. Why don't you have fruit trees on your property? Why did you cut when they were dying the trees? Why didn't you replant them? Make it make sense. There's certain things you don't have to buy. If you're living in if I was in the tropical climate, the only thing I would have to buy is things that I cannot grow myself or animals that I'm not raising. And when it came to chicken, I wouldn't have to buy no chicken and no eggs. That's for sure. Beef, maybe yes, and that kind of stuff, fine. And fish, if I don't live near the ocean, I'll have to go buy a fish. But vegetables, fruits, um, you know, spices and stuff like that, no, shouldn't have to do it. And this is the conflict that I'm having. And then now the hurricane finds, you can't control a hurricane, but some of the infrastructure that you wanted to have, I'm not willing to invest in that anymore at this point. When the door was open, you should have taken the opportunity then. Now times have changed. Inflation is kicking our butts over here, and we have to get ourselves ready for power outages and stuff like that. And those things are not cheap. They're not overly expensive, but it's an expense that you have to budget for. We have to get our own, I'm getting my own orchard set up and propagating trees, and I have to buy stuff because not everything can be propagated that easily. I have to, work. I have to worry about myself. That's the long and short. I have to worry about myself. And when the door was open and you didn't want to take the opportunity, I'm sorry, it's closed. You're gonna have to figure out something else. Um, exactly. I don't spend a lot. You budget, you plan, you save. I buy things on sale. I figure out what I have to do. Yep, Brampton, they have no concept of money. Or they do have a concept, but they don't care because it's your money. You gotta spend. Um, whoops, hold on. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Your peach tree got destroyed by neighbor's tree. Oh no. I saw a picture, but I wasn't clear what happened because I thought your peach trees were not in the ground, they were in pots. They're not dead. It's not destroyed. It's probably damaged, but it's not destroyed. It got crushed by the tree. So I would think maybe you have to prune them all the way back and let them start fresh almost. But they're not dead. But yeah, that's very yeah. I had a tree this year fall on my property. It almost ruined my chicken run. Thank God. Yeah, you can't help some people. My brother-in-law is like that. He is self-destructive, and it's like, yeah. So you might have to have conflict with your family, especially, when the expectation is you kind of help out. My dad's always helping out. I look at him, I'm like, all we do is get requests from over there. I'm not like, no offense. And I'll tell them to their face if they ask me, but I won't just say it because they're gonna get offended. But it's always calls from over there. Like we don't have our own crap here to deal with. We don't have our own stuff to deal with. And there's nobody we can call and say, oh, we have to take care of it ourselves. Things need to be fixed. The plumbing at dad's house, my dad, it's a city problem. It's on their side, and we've been waiting for months for them to come and fix it. They haven't fixed it yet. They marked the driveway where the connection is, and then this and that, and the clog was from their end and from tree roots and blah blah blah. Oh, it'll be 4 or 5 weeks. It's been at least, I don't know, 2-3 months now. So we got to keep harassing them because winter's coming. So when are you going to fix it? If the sewage line isn't clear and proper on their end, what's going to happen? At one point, it was clogged up completely. They could flush, but they couldn't put nothing down the toilet, and all kind of stuff was going on. I'm like, and that's when we're like, oh my God, we need to have, other options available to toilet and to have a backup plan. And that's what I was talking. Can't Stop Walking. He's a truck driver. He has, a portable toilet for that very reason, because you're on the road driving and you don't want to be wondering where you're going to go and if it's going to be clean and sanitary. So, we had to get certain things in play. And oddly enough, look what happened. The flooding happened, rainstorm happened, tree fell on my property. We had a bad windstorm. Shingles were flying all over the place. All kind of stuff happens. To fix one shingle that fell off the roof, my dad fixed it himself at one point, but somebody got upset that he was on the roof. Anyways, It's not ideal. I don't want him on the roof either, but I've never climbed a roof. And at this point, to be perfectly honest, I'm probably kind of uncomfortable with heights. Going up is not a problem, but coming down, like, and getting back on the ladder, I don't know what it is, but I freeze. So don't ask me to go on no roof. He's been doing it all his life. So he went on the roof. Somebody got upset that, he's on the roof and blah, 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 blah. And there's a whole gossip thing going around. And anyways, the man fixed the thing. Well, get someone to fix it. To fix one shingle, which we did get fixed, is 200 something dollars. Do you know many people who are seniors on a fixed income who can pay $200 to fix one shingle? And there's sometimes multiple shingles that fly off the roof, and it happens more often than not. Do you think that's an expense that they want to, if they can do it themselves? So as long as someone is there watching, holding the ladder and watching and taking, but it was a whole thing, and then somebody was crying about it. What the hell are you crying about it? Like, anyways, don't get me started. If you're ever around me and something happens that's not, and crying is not really appropriate, crying is like a manipulation tactic, don't cry in front of me. I will get irate and I will dig my heels in and I will make you cry for a real reason, allegedly. Don't use crying with me because that just pisses me off. For those who ever, if you ever meet me in person, don't come with that. I don't like it. I find it manipulative and just trying to pull on people's heartstrings, and I will cuss you the hell out. Why are you crying because we have the man on the roof? Why are you crying about that for? Why are there tears? To go and make us look bad to somebody else, and then we get a phone call about why is it blah, blah, blah. I don't like him on the roof either. Ideally, he's an elder, but when people have been doing stuff all their lives, it's not as concerning. It's not like I sent somebody who uses a walker onto the roof. My dad is perfectly functioning, driving still by himself, like all of these things. The only things that he can't do, which became clearly obvious, and we help, is that the hand-eye coordination is not the same, and most people will know that when you're older, sometimes your hand's shaking, you're trying to put the screwdriver into a place or whatever, and your hand's shaking so much that you can't do it very quickly. So we help with those, but he's been climbing ladders since he was whatever. So it's not, odd. They made it a whole thing, and it's crying, crying, crying. And this person knows I can't stand her. She knows. My dad knows I can't stand her. Don't. I'm not one of those people. Tears don't work with me. Don't give me a sob story because it's just gonna make me be more, dig my heels in more. Just don't bring me into that. It's not cute. Um, I was taught that if you go out with someone else is buying, you choose one of the cheapest things on the menu, and that's what I do, unless they say, you know, but I don't exactly. And this is common courtesy, and I've seen it with a couple of people from the Caribbean. And in one scenario, somebody had a gift card for Starbucks. What I don't go to Starbucks really, but I went there, and they offered me a hot drink. Me and the other person a hot drink, a coffee. So I said I got a coffee. The other person got a hot drink and a baked good. You know how much baked goods are at Starbucks? It's like $5, $6 at that time, never mind now, for a baked good. The person didn't offer you a baked good. They offered you a hot beverage. And then when we dropped the person off, we were just waiting to bring it up, but we couldn't because the person was in the car, person number 3. When we dropped that person off, we're like, is that rude? I offered you a hot drink and you ordered like other stuff. Like I didn't offer you that crap. And then the gift card that they had was like depleted because that person hogged it for themselves. The person offered us a hot drink, and there should have been enough left on the card that they got from somebody else to, buy a couple of more coffees. And then, it's their own personal treat. Now, in the future, the person became a little kinder, and, they did give me gift cards because maybe they grew up and realized that that was a bit uncalled for. But yeah, you buy the cheapest thing and you take what they offered you. But anyways, we all have this problem. We all have somebody like that, and it's like I just like the easiest answer is no. And that's just it across the board. Unless it's a need that, you that needs to really be addressed and you can help, fine. But just like everyday needs, I'm a no now. I make sure that I have my things taken care of, and then I'll help. Because what I learned from my mom is she always put other people first, and things that she wanted, some even, she's gone now. She didn't get to have certain things because she's always having to take care of this, that. Oh, this person called that, and I knew they were milking her dry, and I said no. I put my foot down with that, and I cut that off with her, and showed her what they were doing, and I don't do it in my life. I put my needs first because when you don't, they always come with a story and they suck you dry. Would you like to join the this is Little Miss Prepper. Would you like to join the on Ladies panel tonight? I don't know who that is. I don't think I can drop your link. I'm gonna click. Oh, you sent me a message. Okay, I'll look at the message and read it. I don't know who that is, but I'll have to see first because if I don't know who you are, then I have to see. Okay, let me check it out first. Little Miss Prepper. I'll find off of your channel and let you know. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm putting my needs first. And I've been doing that for a while. For Since I came onto YouTube, I've been saying that to you guys. I've been putting my needs first because I was the one that was always okay, help, 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 help. And then before you know it, you're depleted. And then if you ever need help, you can't ask any of those same people for help. So I'm making sure that I have what I need, not in a look, I'm not buying handbags anymore. Well, I used to, and shoes. Like since the pandemic, those days are gone. Whatever I have, that's it. I'm not buying anything else. Stuff to prepare, to be comfortable, to maintain my home, and expand the garden and stuff like that. And that sort of thing. Guilt trips don't work on me either. Don't even think about it, Brampton. Oh my god. Oh, take care, get out to country girl. I do it on my husband's channel, this channel. Okay, that channel right there. Okay. I think that were you on the were you on a canning live before? I have to check. I think I may have I may be confusing you because people have similar names, but I think there was a canning live and you were or the wife husband and wife were on it, if I'm not mistaken. But that's what I'm doing right now. So garden stuff, I'm getting more seeds. I'm harvesting my seeds right now, and most of my harvesting of my seeds is not really for me. I have enough, and I actually almost bought another pack of seeds of the same thing I already had, seed problems. And I'm gonna give them to the library again and donate them to other people so they can have a more variety in their gardens. So I collected the green mustard greens. The red ones are almost dried. I'll harvest those soon. They're covered with aphids on the top. Didn't have aphids before, but now their aphids are coming in. I'll be harvest. I cut out all the bok choy. They were gone to seed, and I really could have waited. And I decided to say, nah, I'm gonna cut them down. I fed them to the chickens. I'm gonna plant a second batch for now for fall, and then I will let those go to seed and harvest those ones, and then I'll donate to them library either in the winter or the spring, like in stages. As I get them, they dry properly, I'll donate them. I'm not gonna use my good spots for growing food right now for things going to seed, and I don't need to have all 5 of them going to seed, just 1. I'm gonna be doing that to really give people a chance here, because a lot of us, I know myself, Brampton, other people have a lot of seeds and a lot of varieties that people don't really necessarily have because we bought seeds from other countries, other stores overseas. We've gotten stuff from people that I've never seen in the stores here. I've got peppers from Garden State Gardener. I've never seen them in any store here unless I buy the actual pepper, maybe. And even then, I don't recognize those names. And I can grow those peppers and then, give the seeds out to help people have variety, because that's what's going to help you. What I learned this week from the flood, it wasn't really fully the flood, but just in general, when you watch human behavior, everyone checked on their own house first to make sure that they had, the flood wasn't damaging and they were, pouring out water and getting help. I talked to the other neighbor. She had her daughter and her grandkids helping, and we just, They said it was bad. I'm like, oh my God. And, just chit chatting with people. There's a couple of people on the street that are not very nice people. Nobody goes and checks on them. You don't want to be that person, the person that nobody checks on and that you don't give two craps what's happening to them because you're not a team player and you're not nice to live around. You're not, considerate. Number one. Number two is if you're close, like your neighbors are close houses together, what they do affects your property and vice versa. And you have to enlighten your neighbors and they enlighten you and make you aware of things that happen, like how the water flows, where the water pools, and that kind of thing. Because depending on how you lay out your gardens, especially as a new owner and you're new, like there's a reason why that's the way that it is, because the water, and they explain things to you, because you'll do things and mess up stuff and then cause more problems. My backyard, the walkway that you guys see me go to the backyard, is literally a river when it's a heavy rainfall like that. The water you can see just running all the way down to the front. And then the front, which needs to be resealed because that's where the leak came, to divert to the drain, all the stuff, all the dirt, all the sand, all the gravel gets pushed. So I need to have a better retaining wall there. But also the water flows down to the drain. Other people's water isn't flowing down. And then the neighbor is not doing certain things on his side, and that's what's causing the water to not flow properly. Then we have clay soil, which doesn't absorb very quickly. So I don't know what happened at the back this year. I've never had a leak at the back ever. But there's a little bit of water. The lady downstairs said there's a little bit of water in her bedroom. I don't know where that came from. I'm going to have to figure that out. I know that I do realize that I have another problem. I was out one night putting the chicken feed away. I pour the food back into a bucket, and I put the feeder away because the rat was just helping themselves. So every night or even before night, I put the food away. That particular evening, I kind of got out later than usual, and it was pretty much nightfall. I thought I heard and saw something that was a rat. I shined the light on it. It wasn't a rat. It was a possum. Oh, take care, Brampton. I gotta go and massage my chicken, but that sounds funny. But wanted to let you know, if you need any lilies, Georgetown is doing a sale at the Gardens by the Superstore. Georgetown. Okay. You point to the one you want and volunteer will dig it up, a cutting for you for a donation. Oh, okay. And Brampton had some really unique. My stomach is growling. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I'm hungry. Oh, let me know the place, Brampton. Send it to me. Send me you can send me you have me on Instagram. You can send me a message. I don't know. There's probably some shops I've never been to. And that's probably why I don't find these crap. I only go to the big box stores. So if you have other stores that you go to that might have some stuff, let me know. If I'm in the areas, and I can just add to my list to stop in. The feed stores have some nice seeds, but the chicken feed store does not keep their seeds out very long, which I don't understand why. On Steels and Chinguzi, okay. They were $1. Not sure what they have left. Okay, Steels and Chinguzi. Steels. Where's Chinguzi? Does Steels and Chinguzi even intersect? Or am I mistaken? Chinguzi. I know both streets, but I don't know. Do they connect? Am I confused? Maybe. Okay. Because I was like, what? I'm like, I know they don't. Okay, yeah, they don't connect. Yeah, okay, Mavis is. Oh, Mavis is Chinguzi. It is. That's news to me. I know. Okay, I guess it bends. Okay, maybe the bend. I didn't think Mavis and Chinguzi. I have to check the map. Maybe you're right, because if you keep going, but I thought it just ended. Okay, it's kind of like Highway 50 and Queen. It's the same. I know, Canadian roads make it confusing. But yeah, I'll pop into some of these new stores. I found a farm on Instagram through somebody else who mentioned a farm, which is in Vaughan or something, that you can go to and get crops from. I've never been there, but I'm definitely going to check it out. and I was told to go to London and Kitchener Waterloo for the farmers markets. They have, better prices, and at the end of the day, they mark everything down to like cheap, cheap, and by the case, and to get those to can, not to bother you know. So that's what I'm going to be doing: going to the farmers market and the Amish market to go buy stuff in bulk and then just can it. And because I don't grow enough to can enough to keep for that many like months and years. Highway 10 is exactly. I know Highway 10 is here in Ontario because I got burned that way. I used to get lost as a new driver. I didn't know that there were two names for the same road, and I was like, "Where's the road? It just ended." No, same road, different name, depending on what side of the line you're on. So that's it for me today, guys. I couldn't talk a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of nothing, but it was something. So get prepped up, get water. Let me just encapsulate some of the main points. Make sure yourself and your stuff is in order before you can help anybody else. It's back to the same story. When you're on a plane, put your mask on before you start, helping other people. Make sure your stuff is in order, and you need to work on that because with all these natural disasters coming, it's a problem. And that flood this week was really surprising, and it's damaging. Most people now have to redo their entire basements. And my friend who had a flood before, she had to redo the drywall, the bottom 4 feet, but the ground was tiles, and all they did was do a special chemical steam on it, and it was fine. Don't put no carpet down there. Anyways, get your water game up. Even in I think Houston is still out of power, and I don't think they still have water from what I'm hearing you guys talking about and on the social media. They still don't have, stuff back on. So make sure you have water. But when you collect water and store it up, you know, every season, don't be like me, but every year, go through a couple of cases and then buy some new ones. Don't just have them sitting there because they are going to degrade. So make sure you have your water. Make sure you have, they don't have much of a media presence, but no. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, call first because you go there and then they're not even open or stuff. I got burned that way too. Make sure you have extra food on hand, things that you know you can prepare quite quickly and easily and that your family would like. Things that don't require cooking, or if you have an outdoor stove, that's fine. Make sure you have all your medicines and your equipment for a natural disaster. A lot of people need one of those shop vacs to suck up the water. We had to use that at my parents' garage. Some people don't have any of these equipment. Get the equipment you need to make your life a little easier. A shop vac can suck up the water and then you pour it out. Bucketing water back and forth is not always feasible. You have to have sometimes a dehumidifier to dry out the basement. Have some of these things that you need in place before you start going and worrying about everybody else. Make sure you have, if you need distilled water for medicine like me for the CPAP machine, make sure you have enough distilled water and so forth to tie you over. If you have things in your garden that are growing, use them, cook them. Don't be using your canned stuff first. Use the stuff that's fresh and use that first and then can stuff. Don't rely on your freezer. If you can start taking your freezer food and canning it, that's going to give you a longer shelf life. Don't leave things in the freezer. The power went off and some people had it off longer than they thought and they lost a lot of food. Maybe you're better off just barbecuing everything. If you have animals, dogs, cats, chickens, or anything, or like livestock, have some food put away for them. You don't want to have a problem. When you have things in your garage, get skids. I have wooden skids. I'm trying to get those rubber or those plasticky ones so that things are off the ground. Do not put anything on the ground. In your basement, same thing. Everybody got burned and getting burned because they have things on the ground. And it could be sewage that's coming into your house sometimes. So do not put things on the ground. Put them on something so that they're protected. The only thing that's going to get damaged is like table legs and stuff like that. Who cares? But expensive, important stuff, do not put them on the ground. What else happened with the flood? Sandbags. I don't know I don't have any sandbags. I have sand, but that's for the chicken's dust bath. Things like that. Make sure you have your stuff charged and your battery packs charged so that you have what you need to at least keep your phone charged and your laptop to keep in contact with people, and just make a list of things that you need to add to what you've prepared and work from there. And don't let anything divert you from getting prepared and distract you. Keep your budget, and then every week you buy some small things, and then you save for some of the big purchases. Make sure you have hydrogen peroxide, you have your alcohol, make sure you have disinfectant in case you need to, clean certain things. Make sure you have extra towels and stuff like that, because right now doing laundry was delayed for many people, so have extra stuff. And make sure you have extra mops, because I had to use old mops to clean up the stuff. I didn't know what it was. Stuff like that. Bleach. Make sure you have your bleach. Make sure you have your vinegar and your bleach tablets. Make sure how you're storing stuff is not, going to contaminate things. Make sure you have mouse traps with where you store stuff, because I noticed some a little bit of mice turd. I never knew there was mice could have even gotten in there. And in the garage, same thing. Make sure you have mouse traps, because you'll be surprised that they're getting into places. So you need to make sure you have traps around to keep any infestation down. Everything, anywhere that you store food, even if you store them in metal cans and in totes, you need to put down mouse traps, because they are sneaky and they will chew through Tupperware if you leave it there long enough. Check your containers, make sure that they're okay, and don't keep things on the ground. And that's my public service for today. Have a great day and be careful in these streets. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others, but make sure that you take care of yourself first. All right, bye, guys.